Hi guys, gonna make a video now about talents. Finally, apparently I've been pissing people off because, you know, I've been busy and I've not been getting around to doing videos to show people and be so kind as to take some time out of my life to show people these things on beta, and they're getting angry. So yeah, calm down people, I'll get round to things when I can. I'm kind of busy this week, but next week hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more focus on each individual talent, or and maybe not each individual talent, but maybe groups of talents and groups of things that interact with each other and get around to doing the AoE and stuff like that. But for now this is going to be about the entire talent tree, so it's going to be quite general about each thing and to show you what each one does. Unless it's old, if it's an old one that's been around for a while, then you've probably seen it, so there's no point showing you. So, first tier, presence of mind. Same presence of mind as has been in the game since a million years ago. Makes your next cast instant, as long as its cast time is less than 10 seconds. Cool, can I do portals? I've not tried that yet. Wonder if you can palm portals now. Let's try it, We have to try it. I haven't tried this, so let's try it. Where's my spell book? Palm. Give me a fast portal. Bitch. Anyway, so presence of mind makes your cast instant. There you go, instant pyroblast. One thing about presence of mind, you still can't do it with arcane power. So I actually kind of think that's a bit shitty, you know, because it's like, hey cool, hey arcane mages, you can go and have presence of mind, but you're not actually allowed to use it with arcane power, so fuck you. I actually think that's bad, and it should be removed now. I mean, we're beyond all this palm pyro nonsense now. If you were running around as an arcane mage, you're not going to palm pyro people, you're going to arcane blast people. You're probably going to palm 4-stack arcane blast people. You know, but it doesn't need to be there anymore, Blizzard. Change that shit. Let us palm arcane power stuff. It's not a big deal anymore. So yeah, there you go. Presence of mind. Same as it's always been. Scorch is the same as Scorch on live if you had it free talented. So Scorch you can cast whilst moving and it's free. The final one is Ice Flows, so I'll learn that and show you what that's all about. Ice Flows basically allows you to cast the next 2 spells whilst moving. And you can do that once every minute, as long as the spell has less than a 4-second cast time. So you can't run around spamming evocation. It would be kind of cool to have Ice Flows while spamming this invocation thing, but you can't, so tough shit. One thing it doesn't mention, is that it's actually a buff with a duration. It's a buff with a duration, so if you don't cast them 2 spells, I think it's 10 seconds, if you don't cast them 2 spells within 10 seconds, you just wasted your talent. So they might want to add that it's got a bloody duration. But anyway, let's show that in action so you can actually see it. If we can find it, alphabetical order. So here we go. Ice Flows, 2 stacks, 9 seconds, wee running around. It looks, I think that's the same animation as the Shaman version of it, Spirit Walker's Grace. I think that's the same animation as it. So yeah, looking at each of these talents, basically the way that you can think of them is, if I'm going to be standing still and not moving, the only one of these is a DPS increases presence of mind. It will basically do the equivalent of adding a ton of haste to a single spell, because it makes it instant. It makes it all well, whatever your haste affects, you know, anywhere between a 1 second and 1.5 second global cooldown spell. So, you know, that's pretty much what your raiding idea for presence of mind is. If you're moving a little bit, you know, maybe you're moving a little bit every every so often you're moving a small amount. Icy Flows, short cooldown, and it will get you a reasonable distance. I mean, if you're fire, or in fact any spec, now you've got a lot of instants. So you could do 2 full casts, so Arcane Blast, say like 1.7 seconds. We'll just roughly say it's a random spell like Fireball, it's roughly 2 seconds if you've got crap haste. So you can do 2 of them, that's 4 seconds worth of moving. And then you could just refresh Living Bomb, chuck out a Hot Streak Pyro Blast, do your Inferno Blast. So you've got, what's that, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, like 10 seconds in that minute worth of moving whilst casting. So Ice Flows is actually pretty damn good if you can time shit like that together. If you just are constantly moving, Scorch is the way to go. So I actually think most mages who are raiding are going to go for Ice Flows, and I think that's the way to go, unless of course it's a stack patchwork fight and you're going to pick Presence Mount. So the next tier set, I'm going to go to Toberad to show this, is Ice Barrier, which is the age-old Ice Barrier. It just absorbs a ton of damage, a 25-second cooldown, costs 3,000 mana, so it's almost as much cost as a Fireball, but it absorbs a ton. The downside of Ice Barrier is obviously it costs a global cooldown, so to have that defensive ability in a raid, you are costing yourself damage, costing yourself DPS. Blazing Speed is the one that I'm going to show. So Blazing Speed is way different from what it is on live. Blazing Speed is now a short cooldown, 25 seconds. It's not very long, but you're only able to activate it if you take 2% of your health as damage, and then you can activate it. I think there's another condition that you can use it, or after you kill something. Pretty good for leveling. That means, you know, you kill a mob, bang out Blazing Speed, run to the next mob, tag it before some other asshole does, and away you go. So let's go and get hit by some mob. That's a dwarf. Let's get hit by this dwarf. And let's quickly find Blazing Speed. Here it goes. Yay, look, it's active. And it's also got a new animation. Whee, there we go. It looks like rocket boots, but it doesn't fail like shit. So that's Blazing Speed. It also removes movement impairing effects, so that's quite cool. Let's see what's the next. The next one. Die. The next one is Temporal Shield. So this one, I feel, is probably going to be the one that a lot of raiders are going to pick. This one it's not on global cooldown, so you can use this without losing any DPS. It's a reasonable mana cost, so if your mana is a concern, then it's going to be a bit of a bitch. But basically what it does is it will give you a buff for 4 seconds, and all the damage that you take over that 4 seconds will be added up in a little accumulator, put in a little pile somewhere, and then once the debuff goes away, you get all that back over 6 seconds. So let's see if we can show that. Temporal Shield. T for Temporal Shield. So let's find something else to attack me. Here, mobbies, come on. Here we go, here's a female Tauren. Just walking around, pacing about, minding her own business. And now she's not very happy. So here we go, she's hitting me. We're about 3,000-4,000, so we'll chuck up Temporal Shield. You can see it's soaking up some shit, and then it finishes, and it heals me some, gives me a little bit of healing. And you know, it's pretty cool. I think it's quite useful. Well, it's killing all these. So I think that's quite a good raiding one because it's a short cooldown. You can use it a lot. Yeah, there might be other reasons. You know, I think on a general boss you'll take Temporal Shield, but there might be gimmicks where you might want to take Blazing Speed or you might want to take Ice Barrier. But I think mostly people would take Temporal Shield. The next one's Ring of Frost. Standard. I'm not going to show that because it's just the same. I will show Frostjaw first, because then I can respec and show some interesting things with Fire Ward. So, Frostjaw. Here we go, Frostjaw. Just a second, I'll pause the video. Yeah, okay, I was trying to put on cast bars, but I actually have no idea how to do it, so fuck it, go just... Oh, that was a bad glyph to have. I'll kill this thing Frostjaw, so you can see he's doing cast, you can kind of see his cast animation. Zoom a little bit, let's see him cast. There you go, he's casting away, and then I'll cast Frostjaw on him, now he's not doing shit. And Frostjaw counts the scatter, so you can blast the hell out of him. So you can think of Frostjaw as basically being the weak version of a Warlock's Death Coil. Mages have this ability to do 2 spells at once, which is a single target ranged Frost Nova coupled with counter spell. So that's why I call it a weak version of Death Coil, because Death Coil, let's face it, is retarded. It gives you damage, it gives you healing, it's a silence, it's a CC, you know, it's all in one. So we get 2. Frostjaw is our version of it. So it's pretty good. It gives us an extra silence. So that's 2 silences. So I can see a lot of people liking that for PvP. So the next one's Frost Ward, and there's a small limitation with that, and that's why I was going to respec, because I want to pick Ice Barrier to go with it, to show you what this weakness is. For those of you who are clever, you might have worked this out already, what this weakness is and why Ice Barrier causes problems with it. So Ice Ward is basically, you can cast this on absolutely anyone, which is kind of cool. It's a 20-second cooldown, and it puts this buff on that person, and when you get hit, they will basically freeze all the enemies within 10 yards for 5 seconds. You can only do it once. Once that has happened, the debuff is gone from that person. But if you notice, it's a 20-second cooldown, lasts 30 seconds, you can actually have it up on 2 people. That has potential for being kind of screwy in arena. If you timed that well, you could actually go out with 2 people with Ice Ward. And if you attack your opponents within the first 10 seconds, or if you time it really well, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I can see that being nerfed, because I can see that getting abused in arenas. So yeah, let's find that in the spell book, and I'll show you basically how it works, and I'll basically show you it straight up with the limitation as well. The limitation is that I can't find it in the spell book. There it goes. The limitation is you have to actually take damage to proc it. You can't just proc it because someone's done some shit to you. You actually have to take damage. So I'll show you from hitting this guy here, girl. If I put this thing on myself, the Ice Ward on myself, it's not proccing. Ice Barrier's up, it's not proccing, and she can't even break my Ice Barrier. That's how good Ice Barrier is. You can watch it soak away. So that number will go down to 0, and then she'll proc the thing when she actually hits me properly. There you go, and there you go. She's stuck. It's just basically a Frost Nova. Again, it will count as a. If you're not slow as shit, it will count as a shatter. Yeah, there you go. Counts as a shatter. Kill this guy. Oh. Quickly kill this guy, and we'll move on to the next one. So the next one's Greater Invisibility, Cauterize, and Cold Snap. So I'm not going to show you. Leave me alone. Great Invisibility. I'm not going to show Great Invisibility. I'm not going to show Cauterize, but I'm going to show one aspect of Cold Snap, and I will show it now because it seems like an appropriate time. Basically, the one aspect of Cold Snap is when you activate Cold Snap, it will heal you for 30% of your health, and you can use it while stunned. So you can see I'm not quite at full health, so if I activate Cold Snap, bam, there you go, quite a big heal, 46k heal, it's quite nice. So yeah, it will refresh the cooldown on Ice Block, Frost Nova, and Cold. So yeah, that's Cold Snap. You can also now use it whilst stunned, frozen, incapacitated, feared, asleep, AFK, offline, at the shops, in the pub, anywhere you want it, you can use Cold Snap. It's also not in the global cooldown, so that's kind of cool. Cauterize is the same Cauterize as now, but it's a 2-minute cooldown, not 1 minute, so it's not quite as abusive in raids. Because let's face it, a 1 minute Cauterize in raids is actually retarded. It is so broken on so many bosses, it is stupid. But I like it. So I'm happy with it changing to 2 minutes. I actually am happy with that. I feel with 2 minutes it's something that you can use but you can't abuse. Greater invisibility, 2.5 minute cooldown. Make sure invisibility instant cast. Let's see. Yeah, basically the change part is when you leave invisibility, the damage taken is reduced by 90% for 3 seconds. So you can then use that in a similar way in raiding to the way that priests use dispersion, although it's not quite as strong, but you could use it in that similar way. You just have to time things. So like imagine you were on Algalon and he was about to do Big Bang, and you would just go invisible, and you would just have to cancel your invisibility at some point 3 seconds before the Big Bang goes off, and then bam, you can absorb a ton of it. So there might be reasons to use greater invisibility over Cauterize, I guess. I don't know what it would be. If you were maybe having to soak solo and there was no one going to be near you, then yeah, you could use greater invisibility. PvP wise, God knows what you guys are using. Probably Cold Snap, because then you get double Ice Block and you get a heal. It's 3 minute cooldown, 2 minute cooldown, 2.5 minute cooldown. So the last one to show you, because I can't get to level 90 yet, are the bombs. So I'm gonna go to, where am I gonna go to? Let's actually go to Theramore, because there's a nice group of mobs. So each bomb has kind of a different use. I'll guarantee there'll be more thorough theory crafting than what I'm about to tell you to get the exact numbers of how many mobs each bomb is optimal on. But the way I see it at the moment is, if you have one mob, you will always take Arcane Bomb. If you have 6+ mobs, I think I could probably play safe and say 7+ mobs, you will always take Frost Bomb. The sort of boundaries between them are kind of grey, but certainly in the middle you will take Living Bomb. 3 targets you will take Living Bomb. 4 targets is probably Living Bomb. 5 targets is probably Living Bomb. 2 targets, I don't know. Not really so sure on 2 targets. So first I'm going to show, I'll show Nether Tempest first. So let's find Nether Tempest. N for Nether Tempest. We've gone past N. So Nether Tempest. The good thing about bombs, by the way, they're not high mana cost. They're kind of low mana cost. So they're not going to be crazy. They're actually good. That's a good thing, because you know it's going to lower the, you know, your main nuke is like Fireball, Arcane Blast, and Frostbolt are quite hefty on mana cost. So having these going in between, you know, that's kind of cool. So Nether Tempest, basically it does a chunk of damage to your main target over 12 seconds, and then each time it deals damage, does half of that damage to a random target nearby. There is no limit to how many Nether Tempests you can put up, and it's instant cast. So one Nether Tempest looks like this, and 6 Nether Tempests look like this. It looks a lot, but they're not big numbers. It's a fuck ton of numbers. None of them are huge. So this is why I'm not sure. I feel like if you were doing mass AoE and you were docking a ton of stuff with that, I don't think it's going to be good, because that's all you're going to be doing. It's all you're going to have time to do. You're just going to cycle through docking them all, and then cycle through docking them all, and cycle through docking them all. And you're still only doing 30, 45 to 50,000 damage per cast time. This is why flat out Frostbomb will end up being better on multiple targets. There is a weird thing with Nether Tempest. Weird as fuck thing with Nether Tempest, and I think, don't quote me on this one, but I am about 80% sure that it's probably going to be a bug. Nether Tempest will tick and do damage 14 times. 14 times. Always 14 times. If you put Nether Tempest on, imagine you could get Nether Tempest at level 10 and you put it on a level 80 mob and the mob didn't kill you for whatever stupid reason. It would tick and do damage 14 times over its duration. So it would miss shitloads, but it would always make sure that it ticked 14 times and did damage. So basically what I'm saying there is I've had this put on a level 90 boss, because the target dummies are boss level, so they're level 93. And basically I've had as many as 25 ticks where a lot of them were misses. Yeah, a lot of them were misses. There was still 14 ticks to damage, but there was these extra ticks that just missed. And I've had other times where I've only had like 16, 17 attempts at damage, but 14 of them always did damage. There were just less misses. So at the moment, regardless of what happens, Nether Tempest does 14 ticks of damage. It will try, it will do other ones, but they won't do anything. So I think that's a bug. I'm fairly confident that's a bug, because it's weird as hell. So anyway, let's show Frostbomb, because I actually love this. I think it looks cool as fuck. Let's see, where is it? F for Frostbomb. Frostbomb. Now Frostbomb is the only one out of the three that has a cast time, but it's short, 1.32 seconds. It is also the only one that's got a cooldown. So because it's got a cooldown, and if you check on the tooltip, the duration is 5.3ish seconds. Whereas its cooldown is 8 seconds. Almost 9. So you can only have one Frostbomb up at a time. So yeah, basically what Frostbomb does is fuck a ton of damage to the main target and a big hefty chunk of damage to all other targets. And then it can slow. So this is Frostbomb. As you can see, scroll down. Boom! Big chunks of damage. It does way more than that. Like when you're properly buffed and stuff, this thing hits really quite hard. So I quite like it. I think it's kind of awesome. I think it's really cool stuff. One thing I haven't really tested is, like, Living Bomb does specifically state this, so this is why I'm not so sure about Frostbomb. But Living Bomb specifically states that if the mob dies, or the person or whatever dies before the bomb finishes, it will explode. Frostbomb doesn't actually say that. So my concern would be if it doesn't state that, and that it doesn't explode when the thing dies. Frostbomb has a huge Achilles heel with that, because that's kind of horrible. Then it's like, oh yeah, it's AoE time, there's lots of Murlocs coming out, and it's Tidewalker, and you just throw your Frostbomb on a Murloc and it dies and you do no damage, and everything else tops the meters and you feel like a dick. So I hope to God that it's not like that. I should really test it, but fuck it. I was going to do a video on the bombs anyway, to show you like some other stuff anyway, so I might throw it in there. The final one, Live Bomb, limited 3 targets, does a chunk of damage over some time, then explodes and hits 3 targets with that explosion. So it's kind of like your cleave one. So I think the way that it's going to end up being, there's going to be numbers where, you know, you read them from you can probably kind of read it from left to right. It's like single target, 3 targets, 6 targets. This is what I feel it's going to be, and then the points in between are kind of where all them theory crafters are going to go out there and they're going to model this shit, and we're going to find out what bombs we're going to use under what circumstances and things. But that's pretty much the gist of the general idea, the feel of things. I kind of like it. I mean, I know some people have said, oh, it's a bit dumbed down and easy to think of it as just being like, you know, I just have 1 bomb for single target, 1 bomb for cleave, one for AoE. But you know, I don't mind that. I actually think that's okay. Oh, I think I better mention this as well, because these bombs interact with one spec in a slightly different way from all other specs, and that spec is Frost. If we go to Frost, we see Brain Freeze. Your Nether Tempest, Living Bomb and Frost Bomb spells have a chance when they deal damage to cause your next Frostfire bolt to be instant, cost no mana. So now, from what I told you, Nether Tempest ticks 14 times. That's 14 chances to proc Brain Freeze. Living Bomb ticks, I think it's like 6 or 7, I think, off the top of my head. That's 6 or 7 chances. And Frostbomb, you're like, holy shit, Frostbomb's got like a 1 chance. But like, here's the thing, Frostbomb always fucking procs Brain Freeze. It's 100% chance, regardless of however many targets are there. Well, it doesn't matter, if they all got hit at the same time, you're still going to get 1, because it'll just proc like 10 times and overwrite each other before you get a chance. But anyway, it has a 100% chance when the bomb goes off, you will get a Brain Freeze every time. Living Bomb with 1 target, on 1 target, tends to proc 0 to 2 times. And Nether Tempest, again, procs 0 to 2 times, something like that. I think you might be able to get lucky on both of them, and be able to get 3 if you were really lucky. So, the Nether Tempest and the Living Bomb. Now, let's see, let's just quickly run over this because I can't remember it off the top of my head. 13 seconds, roughly 13 seconds, and you do this whenever so you're basically going to get more Frostfire Bolt procs, a slightly higher rate of Frostfire Bolt procs off of Living Bomb and Nether Tempest and Frostbomb. Slightly higher. Not a big deal with them. Living Bomb, however, when you've got it on 3 targets, insane. You get like, when I had Living Bomb on 3 targets, I think the best I got was like 8 or 9 procs of Frostfire Bolt. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's the only spec where the bombs, their interaction is slightly different. So that's kind of all the talents. I'm probably going to make more videos, like maybe going through a few more finer points with some of these, like, and how they interact with your spec in general, and there's some things as well where there's interactions between some talents and the glyphs, you know, so it's just there's not enough time in a single video to be able to do all that. So the next video that I was planning on making was about, there's a small patch change. I'm going to make a little video about that patch notes and what's going on with them. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.